Alright, so I've been looking at the Pyro Traveler leaks and it's sort of okay, but yeah, let's talk about it. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Trakes here, back on a Genshin Impact video. Okay, so yeah, like I said before, I've been looking at the leaks of the Pyro Traveler and they don't really seem too bad. Like, they're not great, but they're not bad. They're basically kind of average or mid, which honestly as a Traveler main, I'll take it. If you guys haven't been to my channel before, I am a huge Traveler main. Usually I don't really talk about leaks because I really don't care about leaks at all. And I really don't want to force myself in talking about leaks when I don't really care about it, even though it does get views. And I kind of wish I did care about it because, man, those sweet, sweet views.
Hello! I like money!
But yeah, I can't really bring myself to do it because, I don't know, I just don't really enjoy it. But the only time I really talk about leaks is when it's something that really interests me. And since I am a Traveler main, this Pyro Traveler leak interests me a lot, so that's why I want to talk about it. But definitely let me know if you guys want to see me talk more about leaks. If you guys want me to, maybe I'll consider it in the future. I'll probably only talk about leaks that I actually care about. And since I am a weeb and a waifu collector,
Take it easy, it's just a drawing.
I'll probably only talk about their kits. But yeah, like always, definitely hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more Genshin Impact content. Anyways, going back into the Pyro Traveler's kit, like I said before, the kit's kind of average. The fact that I'm happy that the kit is average just shows how bad the Traveler's kits had been for a very long time now. In my opinion, the best Traveler element when it comes to the kit is Anemo, Geo, and Dendro, and from what I've seen from the Pyro Traveler, I think they will be up there as well. But in order for me to actually have my own opinion on the kit, I gotta try them out first, so I can't really put them there just yet. The only two elements for the Traveler where they have absolutely horrible kits is the Electro Traveler and the Hydro Traveler. The Hydro Traveler's animations, in my opinion, are kind of decent. They're not like the best, but I personally kind of like it. I like their finger gun. The only issue is that I don't like how they're just pointing the finger. I kind of wish it was actually like a finger gun. Unfortunately, we got what we got, so it is what it is. Even though I like their animations, I can't really bring myself to use them because their kit is actually horrible. So yeah, I tried using the Hydro Traveler and I just can't really get myself into using it. And when it comes to Electro Traveler, their kit is absolutely horrible and the animations aren't really that great either. So yeah, like it's a lose-lose for the Electro Traveler. So seeing how badly they botched the Hydro element after the Dendro element, I kind of really didn't have any hope for the Pyro Traveler until in the story where they were kind of hyping up the element in a way. Like they're saying how, oh, you can't get the power element so early. You gotta wait until later on in the story until you get the power element. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe they might actually be cooking, you know? Not only because of the pyro element, but the fact that they're making it so we can't get until like a few updates later, it kind of got me excited. Maybe Hoyoverse finally heard us complaining about the Traveler being so doo-doo that they finally might give them a decent kit with some good animations. And yeah, it's safe to say that a lot of our expectations was kind of a little bit more higher. Even though our expectations were super low, it got a little bit higher, you know? Yeah, everybody's looking forward to the Pyro Traveler, and now the kit has finally been leaked. And I won't be showing any animations because I really don't want Hoyoverse to send the hitmen to my house.
What is it, Peterson?
I'm not sure. I feel a disturbance.
So I'm only going to show text leaks, and in the future when the Pyro Traveler actually gets revealed and animations and stuff like that, then I'll make another video talking about the animations and when I think about them. I'll make another video when we actually be able to use the Pyro Traveler, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts then. But for now, it's only be text leaks. And even then, I'm not really so sure I'm safe. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the kit. We already have the normal attack, which nobody cares about. That's basically all the same. But there's one thing I want to say about normal attack is I kind of wish that they brought back the last elemental attack in your normal attack string. Kind of like how Anemo, you have Wind Blade. I kind of wish they had it for Pyro. I don't know why they got rid of it. It makes no sense. It's something unique to the Traveler, and they got rid of it. I don't understand why they did that. Maybe because it's too lazy to make animation. Who knows? They have gotten a little bit lazier when it comes to animation for the Traveler lately. But at least when it comes to Pyro Traveler, they don't really need that. But yeah, I'll talk more about that later on in the video, but you guys will see. Like, they don't really need that. But it'd be nice that they had that. That'd be kind of cool. There's nothing too crazy when it comes to normal attack. The Pyro Traveler's kit's kind of relatively simple. Even me who has a monkey brain can understand it. But this skill right over here, Flow Fire Blade. And keep in mind, this is still all in beta. All this stuff can change in the future. Like, I'm recording this video on the 24th. All this could be different tomorrow for all I know. And it'll probably definitely be different by the time they come out. But for now, this is what it looks like. But if I mention, it's the 24th of November. Just in case you guys are watching it in the far future. But when it comes to the skill, they wield a searing flame that incinerates the very earth. Had different effects when tapped or held. So I always enjoy skills with two different features or functions when it comes to like tapping or holding. So I think it's kind of cool. When you tap the skill, it calls forth the flame in the raging blaze. When used, the Traveler gains 42 Night Soul points. And one thing I have to mention is that the Traveler does have the whole Night Soul mechanic. I like the whole Night Soul mechanic. I think it looks so cool. Seeing the character all like rainbowy and stuff like that. It basically reminds me of like a computer part. Like the RGB stuff. Yeah, when you use it, the Traveler gains 42 Night Soul points and enter the Night Soul blessing state summoning a blazing threshold that follows the current active character. So basically it summons like a familiar that follows you around, and when the blazing threshold gets close to opponents, it will deal Night Soul aligned pyro damage to nearby opponents at intervals based on the traveler's attack. It doesn't say a certain amount of seconds, it just says intervals based on your attack. So I think what this means is that the timing based on how much attack you have, I guess. So if you guys have like 1,000 attack, it might be like attacking every 2 seconds. If you guys have like 2,000 attacks, it might attack like every 1 second. I know that's kind of crazy. I don't think it's actually like that. It's probably something along the lines of like 3 seconds for like 1,000 attack, 2 seconds for 2,000 attack, stuff like that. We'll find out once we actually get the numbers and whatnot. Yeah, it didn't really tell me the seconds. Probably a little more detailed in the future, maybe in the future league, or maybe once we get the Pyro Traveler, we'll actually get to see the numbers. But yeah, that's basically it for the Pyro Traveler's tap skill. And when you hold the skill, it unleashes a fire in a composed manner. When used, the Traveler gains 42 Night Soul points and enters the Night Soul Blessing state, summoning a Scorched Threshold that follows the current active character. So when you hold it, you get a Scorching Threshold, and when you tap it, you get a Blazing Threshold. Also, I'll leave a link to all of the Pyro Traveler animations in the description and the comment section. That way you can see for yourself, because it looks really cool. At least like one of the animations looks really cool. I highly suggest you guys check it out. In my opinion, the Pyro Traveler might be up there when it comes to animations compared to the other elements. I'll say in my opinion, it probably teeters between 1 and 2 for me when it comes to the ranking of elements. But yeah, same thing when you hold the skill, you also get another familiar that follows you around. Similar to the tap skill, except it's a different familiar. And I'm calling it familiar, but not really a familiar. I don't know what else to call it. Yeah, and then when the current active character within a Scorching Threshold deals damage to opponents, the threshold will launch a coordinated attack that deals Night Soul aligned pyro damage based on the Traveler's attack, and this effect occurs every 3 seconds. When it comes to the hold skill, it's a little bit different than the tap skill. At least the way to word it, it seems different. I could be wrong. This is a leaker wording this. It might be a little different than what it actually is. If I'm wrong, definitely let me know. But it seems like when it comes to the blazing threshold, the intervals of when it will attack is based on the Traveler's attack, or it's saying that the pyro damage is based on the Traveler's attack. It's kind of worded a little bit weird. I don't know, it seems kind of stupid if the intervals of attacking is based on the Traveler's attack, so I don't know. I think it's pyro damage is based off of the Traveler's attack. I'm reading this, intervals based on the Traveler's attack, so I'm thinking like the Traveler's attack determined on when it attacks, but I think the based on the Traveler's attack part is for this. That would make more sense than this. But when it comes to the hold skill, it says right here the Night Soul aligned pyro damage is based on the Traveler attack, so this is based on the Traveler attack. So at least this makes sense. It tells you what the attack affects when it comes to the skill, and tells you this effect occurs every 3 seconds. I'm assuming when they use this skill, it will infuse them with pyro. So it seems like the Pyro Traveler can be used as a support, which is nice. I know a lot of people don't really play a Traveler as a main DPS. That's how I feel like they should build a Traveler. They should make the Traveler a really good support character, but decent enough where people want to main them as the main DPS. They can. I think it's how they should build a Traveler in the future. Well, to be fair, there's only 1 element left, so if they ever do release more elements for the Traveler, or like, you know, a gacha character for a Traveler, if they're gonna do a gacha character for the Traveler, it's probably gonna be busted. Way better than what the heck we're getting here, like this doo-doo water trash. But yeah, just based on what the leaks are saying, assuming that I'm reading everything correctly, holding the skill, the Traveler attack affects the pyro damage, whereas if you tap the skill, the Traveler attack will affect the intervals, like how many times they attack. Assuming that's right, I have no idea. The wording is definitely really weird, but I think that's what it means. But it could mean that the Traveler attack affects the pyro damage. That makes more sense, but based on what I'm reading from here, I think these two are together. Otherwise, they would have put it in the beginning, right? They would have said Night Soul aligned power damage based on the Traveler attack, to attack nearby opponents, blah blah blah. But I guess we'll find out in the future, or if we get more leaks. But when it comes to the Night Soul Blessing for the Traveler, continuously consume Night Soul points. The Traveler's Night Soul Blessing state lasts 12 seconds at maximum, and when the Night Soul points are exhausted, or if the skill is used again, this state will end. So yeah, the whole Night Soul thing only lasted 12 seconds, which kind of stinks. I kind of wish it was a little bit longer, but you can't have the Traveler be really good, right? You just gotta knock them down a peg, you know? They can't compete with the gacha characters. The Blazing and Scorching Threshold will disappear once the Traveler's Night Soul Blessing state ends, and one Blazing or Scorching Threshold can be summoned by the Traveler themselves and exist at any one time. So you can't have both the Blazing and Scorching Threshold at the same time. You're gonna have one, but it's basically the whole skill is relatively simple. The Traveler's kit is usually relatively simple because they don't really put too much effort into the Traveler's kits. Okay, so now this is completely changed, like the wording. I'm assuming the Swift Blaze Ring is the tap skill. I don't know, man. And maybe the Slow Flame Ring is the whole skill. I don't know. It's a completely different term now. But yeah, this is the damage they do. It seems okay. It is at level 10. I don't really memorize how much damage the Traveler's other elements do when it comes to the skills, so I have no clue. But it seems decent. I mean, it's at the hundreds. I mean, when it comes to like the Traveler's kit, I was expecting to be like lower than the 100. But the fact that it's at the hundreds, I'll take it. I will take it. Night Soul point limit is at 80, so I think that's how much Night Soul points they can have. This only really matters when it comes to Natlan, I think, because I think Natlan is the only place you can really recover Night Soul points and have a lot of Night Soul points. I could be wrong, I don't know. But yeah, basically, when it comes to any like Natlan characters and the whole Night Soul mechanic, they're mostly really good in Natlan. Anywhere else, like they're still good, but they're not as good. That's what kind of stinks. The whole exclusivity when it comes to certain regions, when it comes to like mechanics and stuff like that, it kind of lame. I don't mind it, but oh man, it really sucks that Natlan characters aren't really as good anywhere else. I mean, they're still good, but they're just not as good. And also the cooldown is 20 seconds, so there's a cooldown of 8 seconds when you use a skill or when they're in the Night Soul state. Like I wasn't really expecting this to be like permanent like that. I wasn't expecting this to have an uptime of like 100%. I was hoping maybe like a little bit less. You know, they use 8 seconds, maybe like 6 seconds, maybe like 4, I don't know. 8 seconds doesn't really seem like a long time, but when you're playing in real time, 8 seconds is a long time. You know what, you can't really expect too much when it comes to Traveler. The Traveler is basically like an afterthought when it comes to Hoyoverse, I guess. But when it comes to the elemental skill, it's called Plane Scorcher. Obviously, these names will definitely change. These are all like translation. Probably go something else, maybe like Flamethrower, like from Pokemon. Or maybe Blaze Burn. Can you imagine that? Nintendo's like, what are you doing, man? Why are you naming the skills after like Pokemon moves or whatever? And then assume or something, you know? But condense the flames into a mark, dealing Night Soul aligned AoE pyro damage to opponents up ahead. Within the next 4 seconds, the Traveler restores 7 Night Soul points per second. So yeah, this skill seems to be like a AoE pyro damage. I'm not sure how many attacks it even does. I think it does when you like 1 attack. When it comes to the Traveler, I'm assuming it probably does like 1. It seems like a big explosion, like AoE pyro damage. So what I'm thinking is probably like Pokemon where it comes to like the self-destruct and explosion move, where just like that was one huge explosion and that's it. And then in the next 4 seconds, the Traveler restored 7 Night Soul points, which is kind of nice. So I'm not sure when it comes to Night Soul points, do you need the Traveler to be in the Night Soul state in order to restore it, or can you just restore Night Soul points whenever? Cause I know in Natlan you can have an excess amount of Night Soul points, but anywhere else you don't really have the excess amount. I don't think. So yeah, I think in order for the Traveler to really benefit from this anywhere outside of Natlan, they need to be in a Night Soul state and use this. That way they can gain the Night Soul point back again. And that way they kind of extend the duration of the Night Soul state. Could be wrong. I don't know. Like, so I have to really try it, you know, to see. But now, that's what I'm thinking. But when it comes to the percentages of the Elemental Burst at level 10, the damage it does is 761%, which is crazy. That's kind of like a lot, but like I said before, I don't really memorize percentages when it comes to skills for other characters, kits, and whatnot, so 700 would be relatively low for all I know, but it seems like a lot in my opinion. And the fact that it's so high makes me think that it's a 1 attack skill. Because otherwise, oh, the damage would be so big. But when it comes to the cooldown, 18 seconds, it's kind of long. We'll have to see how fast you can really build your burst up. It costs 70 energy to use, and 70 energy is basically the kind of average. Usually, when it comes to attacking or DPS characters, but usually when it comes to elemental skills for other characters, it's usually around like 80, I'd say, average. Sometimes you get some like lower ones at like 60. Sometimes you get higher ones at 100, I think. But for 70, not so bad. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's basically average, so we'll take it. It's better than being 100, that's for sure. But the cooldown, like I said before, I kind of wished it was a little bit lower. 18 seconds is relatively long. I was thinking maybe along the lines of like 12, but like, I think 12 is a little too crazy. You gotta have Traveler be a little bit worse somehow, so maybe like 16, 14 maybe, I don't know. But 18 is a lot. That's kind of it for the Traveler's overall skills and bursts. Nothing too crazy. Basically, from what I've seen here, they're basically a really good support, but they can't be a DPS if you want to, so I'll take it. I personally want more DPS elements for the Traveler because I am a Traveler main, but for everybody else, nobody really uses Traveler as the main DPS, so that's why I'm saying the Traveler should be a really good support, and then decent enough where they can be a main DPS if people want them to be. That's how I feel like they should build the Traveler, but Hoyoverse had different plans. They make the Traveler poop and then tell us to deal with it, so yeah, anyways, let's get into their constellations. Alright, so this is the Traveler's constellation. I also have to shout out, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, Hamdijkat, I don't know. How do you pronounce it? This is the place where we got the leaks. I basically got it on the Genshin Impact leak Reddit, but this is where they got it. So yeah, shout out to them for leaking the Power Travelers kit. And in terms of the constellations, and I believe you get the Power Travelers constellations by doing the reputation system for the tribes, I think. I could be wrong. I haven't really done that yet, so yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's how you get it. If that's the case, it might take forever. It takes a long time to build the reputation system. It basically takes like a few weeks, I think. In terms of Traveler's C1, while Blazing Threshold or Scorching Threshold are active, the current active character deals 6% increased damage. If said character is in Night Soul Blessing state, they will deal additional 6%. So basically, weekly in total, 12% damage. Not really that great, but it's a traveler, right? It's good enough for them. So yes, 12% damage and 6% damage separate if you're not in Night Soul state or if you don't even have the thing active. So 12% damage. I was hoping maybe like 30. That would be nice, but you know, 12%. Okay. I don't know what to say. I'm just like, well, whatever. What sucks about the Traveler's Constellation is that they actually have a separate constellation for fighting a certain enemy in Natlan, which I'm assuming is probably like the weekly boss. And not only that, but these separate constellations are significantly better than the actual Traveler's main constellation. That just shows you how Hoyoverse knows that the Traveler is absolutely doo-doo water, because they had to make a separate constellation for them for a certain boss fight. And also it kind of is a slap in the face for us as players, because you can only use this for a certain boss, and it's like, why? Why can't we just have this normally, you know? Why does it have to be locked towards a certain boss? And also similar when I'm complaining about how certain mechanics are kind of locked toward regions. I don't really understand why they do this. Why can't we just use these mechanics like whenever? So I'm gonna read the separate constellation of the Traveler, and let me know how you guys feel when I'm reading these, because when I was reading these I was like, that's ridiculous. This Mega Traveler is so good. The fact that it's locked towards a certain boss is so stupid, and I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel. It just stinks. Like, I've been asking for a better Traveler for so long, and the fact that they know that the Traveler is bad and they are willing to make the Traveler a little bit better, but only locking to a certain boss is kind of stupid. When opposing insert weekly boss here, or insert whatever boss at the end of Natlan, I'm assuming probably Capitano, because we usually fight the Harbinger at least once, so I'm assuming probably him. And it's kind of spoilers, but at the end of, I don't know, Act 4, they kind of foreshadow Capitano doing something in the future. But yeah, when fighting whoever, while the Blazing Threshold or Scorching Threshold is active, the Traveler attack increases by 30% and take 30% less damage, and the interruption resistance is increased. That's just crazy. Like, that's just crazy. 30% attack increase, though 30% less damage. This fight over here, I guess it's a little too OP. I understand why they wouldn't add this to the original kit, but man, can you imagine if we have this? Yo, what are some of the glitches, the constellations, where outside the boss fight you can actually have these stuff? Like, that'd be crazy. I want to see how that works, how strong they would be. So, you know that meme where, like, when you face the boss, they're like super strong, but once you get them as a playable character, they're like weak? Here's how the Traveler is. This is canon Traveler, this is story Traveler, and this is the playable Traveler. Oh man, that's ridiculous. Oh my goodness, man. Alright, so at C2, within 12 seconds after using elemental skill, Flow Fire Blade, after nearby party members trigger Burning, Vaporize, Melt, Overload, Burgeon, I think I pronounced it, a Pyro Swirl, or a Pyro Crystallize reaction on an opponent, the Traveler will regain 14 Night Soul points. Each use of the Flow Fire Blade will restore at most 28 Night Soul points in this way. So essentially, within 12 seconds using your elemental skill, if any of your party members do any Pyro reactions, the Traveler will regain 14 Night Soul points. So at most, you can only get 28 Night Soul points. So not so bad. I like how the Traveler has ways to restore Night Soul points, because sometimes I'm playing a character in Natlan and their Night Soul state just seems so quick. So the fact that we have ways to restore it is kind of nice. That way we can extend the duration a little bit longer. But when it comes to the secondary effects for the Traveler, for the C2, when opposing blank while in the Night Soul Blessing state, after the Traveler hits an opponent with Pyro attacks, the opponent's Pyro resistance is decreased by 15% for 6 seconds, max 2 stacks. Each stack is counted independently. This is really good, and it seemed fair enough where they can add this at the C2. The other one right over here, C1, not OP. This one seems pretty fair in my opinion. I don't know why I didn't add it here. So sad, man, so sad. I at C3, it increases the skill by 3, maxing out grade 15. So basically any other constellations, nothing too crazy. But when opposing blank, the Traveler gains 30% pyro damage. So this effect right over here, similar to the C2, seems kind of fair enough for me. It doesn't really seem like anything too OP, so I'm like, why can't we add that to one of the constellations? They should add this for like the C1. Unfortunately, it is a mechanic only, exclusive to fighting said boss, so yeah, unfortunately it kind of stinks. But when it comes to the C4, after using Elemental Burst, Plane Scorcher, the Traveler gained 20% pyro damage for 9 seconds. At least we have this, right? You could have 50% pyro damage, but I guess the Hoyoverse, it seems a little too OP for them to have 50% pyro damage, so you know what, we'll give you 20. Take it or leave it. And you have to use Elemental Burst in order to do that. It's not like a permanent thing or whatever. You have to use your burst in order to get 20% pyro damage. And it only lasts for 9 seconds too. But when it comes to like the secondary effect, when opposing blank, after using Elemental Burst, Plane Scorcher, all nearby party members will restore 30% of their max HP. Within the next 10 seconds, the Traveler will gain 4 energy per second. This is wild right here. This makes the Power Traveler an even better support. Being able to heal your party members, even though it's not like a lot, 30%, but still, like, that's crazy. Like, this will make the Traveler so good. But at the same time, when I look at it, I'm like, it doesn't make it a little too OP. I see why that they wouldn't include it in the kit. It does seem a little bit broken, but at the same time, we all want Traveler to be better, and this will make them better. So while I do get why they didn't include this in their kit as a Traveler main and as a Genshin player, come on, can we at least get something? The fact that we know that they actually have the ability to do something like this and they won't do it, it just hurts. I'll take like 10% of the max HP, 5%, better than nothing. And this right here, you get 4 energy per second in the next 10 seconds, so that's like 40 energy. Like, that is a little broken. This whole entire constellation secondary effect is broken, but man, what could have been, right? Maybe instead of 4 energy, we can do 2 energy, 20 energy in total. You still need 50 energy in order to use Element the Burst. Like, come on, man. I'll take 1 energy, half an energy. I'll take half an energy. I'll take anything, man. They should make a nerf version and include in the kit. Like, make it so we have this for the boss and make a nerf version for the actual constellation. Why not? Like, why can't the Traveler be good? It kind of like you guys watch like the NBA, Derrick Rose, this whole like MVP speech in his like press conference. Like, why can't the Traveler be the MVP? Why can't they be good? They're literally the main character in this game. Which main character in a game or anime or whatever is weak? Like, the Traveler is not even weak in the story. Like, Traveler is like one of the strongest characters in the story, but in gameplay they're so not really weak, but they're like weak. I'm just like, why? Like, they're the main character. They're not like a character from like some other animes, I don't know what, but well, the main character is supposed to be weak. Traveler is supposed to be strong, but they're not strong in gameplay. They're just strong in the story, which is crazy. But yeah, anyways, this video is kind of like a whole rant. At the same time, I'm glad the Power Traveler is at least somewhat decent, but the C5 increases their burst by 3, maximum crit by 15, as usual. But in a secondary effect, when opposing blank, the Traveler's crit rate increased by 15% and the crit damage increased by 30. This seems fair. I think this would be perfectly fine as an actual constellation for Traveler. It doesn't seem too broken to me. Other characters have better stuff like that. I think Arlecchino has a pretty decent crit damage increase in their constellation, I think. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I read a constellation. I don't understand why not. Like, why can't we have something like this? I'll take 5% crit rate increase and like 10% crit damage or something. That's what they should do. I'm big sad. I want to see the secondary effects. But hey, at least the Traveler, when it comes to fighting this weekly boss, is probably the best CPS character you can bring. But at least we have that. Then there's C6. While in a nice soul blessing state. Also, this C6 is my favorite. Out of all of them, my favorite. I wish I could show pictures, man, but I can't show you, unfortunately. Otherwise, Holy Reverse will kidnap me, and you guys will never see me ever again. But anyways, while in a nice soul blessing state, the Traveler's normal, charge, and plunging attacks will be converted to a nice soul aligned power damage that cannot be overridden, and the crit damage increased by 40%. I totally forgot about the crit damage being increased by 40% at C6, so I guess we don't really need this part, I guess. We probably use the crit rate, but not the crit damage. The only issue is that this crit damage increase only applies when they're in a nice soul state. In general, they won't benefit from this 40% crit damage. But for the most part, when it comes to playing with the Power Traveler, you're gonna be in a nice soul state. It is fine, like, not having the crit damage here at the end. I do wish we do have the crit rate, though. That, I feel like we should be able to keep. If we don't have this, that's fine, because this is right over here. It's good enough, I guess. But this is my favorite part over here. This C6 is similar to Bennett's C6, where if the Traveler attacks in nice soul state, their attacks is infused with pyro, so when they attack, it does pyro damage. Kind of like Arlecchino as well. When it comes to her Bond of Life state or whatever, when she attacks, she does like pyro damage. So yeah, this is what it is. And the animation when you attack with the C6 in a nice soul state is crazy. It looks really cool. That's the one thing I love about the Power Traveler, is that the animation for that is sick. It's a combination of a bunch of colors, so it's like orange, blue, and a little bit of white. When it attacks, it's beautiful. I wish I could show you. I'll leave a link to the video showcasing it. Assuming it doesn't get taken down, it looks sick. Oh my god, man. It looks so cool. I can't wait to play the Power Traveler just for that. Even though Power Traveler is not as good as they could be, they're decent enough, and with this, it makes up for it, I guess. Also, the Power Traveler being in nice soul state looks sick. They also have tattoos as well, similar to other Natlan characters. It's not really as visible, I guess. It's not like Mualani's where you like, see everywhere. Like, it's basically kind of very like subtle, I guess, but still, it's still kind of cool. But yeah, when opposing blank while in a nice soul blessing state, the Traveler's movement speed increased by 20%, the stamina consumption decreased by 30%, and when they use normal or charge attacks, they will send a wave of flame flowing forward, dealing 23% of their attack to opponents in the wave's path, a nice soul line power damage. So this I can live without the movement speed and the stamina consumption. It's great, but we don't really need that. This wave of flame, I'm assuming probably like Thoma's elemental skill, where you attack a wave of flame, kind of like shoots out, I guess, and it deals 22% of the attack, which is pretty okay. Yeah, overall, this constellation, it'd be nice to have. It doesn't seem like it does too much damage, at least like the bottom part anyway. Obviously, if you have this entire thing, then it's kind of broken, but just having the bottom part would be nice. It's not really too needed, I guess. But yeah, for a C6, I kind of expect it to be a little crazier. Honestly, I kind of expect this to be replaced with this, like the healing, because this seems a little more broken than this one, in my opinion, but hey, it's still pretty good, so yeah, but to me, it's not really necessary. But overall, it's kind of it for the Traveler's Constellation. Another thing I do want to mention is that the Pyro Traveler's Constellation, when you go into the constellation, it has a unique animation. I can't show you guys the animation, but I'll leave a link to the showcase for the animation. Like, it's not like anything crazy, but it looks really cool. And the thing is that no other character has a constellation animation before, so the Pyro Traveler is the first. So I love how they're willing to give special treatment for the Traveler in certain areas that don't really matter. Even though it's cool to have a constellation animation, who cares? Like, who needs that? I'd rather them use that time working on the animation to work on the Pyro Traveler's animation even more. It kind of shows how Hoyoverse, their priorities when it comes to the Traveler is not where we players want them to be. I guess the nice thing when it comes to that is that I think the Traveler is kind of unique because only they have a constellation animation. The only issue is that I think it's only for Pyro, so if they really want to double down on making Traveler a little more special, they should add the animation for all the other elements. At least that way we can have some a little more uniqueness when it comes to Traveler. Like, only the Traveler has constellation animations. I wouldn't be shocked in the future other characters have this as well. And then like the Traveler is kind of like, well, we have nothing unique whatsoever. But otherwise, I think that's kind of about it for everything I want to go through when it comes to the Pyro Traveler's leak. If I see anything else, maybe I'll make a future video talking about it, or if this gets updated, I'll make another future video talking about it. But I definitely do plan on doing another video when they finally showcase the Pyro Traveler officially. That way I can gush about the animation for that one particular thing, like the infusion of Pyro in the sword. And then once the Pyro Traveler actually comes out, I'll make a video playing them and give my thoughts on them. I do want to make a similar video to that with the other elements, so expect that in the future. But yeah, otherwise, kind of for this video. If you guys want to see me cover more leaks in the future, definitely let me know. I'll probably only cover leaks that I only care about. I'm not gonna cover every single leak. I really do not care about half or most of the leaks that come out. Like, maybe for leaks for characters that I care about, maybe I'll do a video talking about that, I guess. It also allows me to learn about the character even more, like learn about how they work, stuff like that. So maybe I might do that, I don't know. Because I've always been wanting to learn more about characters, and I've always been too lazy to read the constellation and the skills, so maybe covering leaks will allow me to actually understand a character better, but also talking about stuff that people are interested in. I feel like it's killing two birds with one stone. Yeah, other than that, let me know what your thoughts are for the Pyro Traveler. Let me know what you guys' overall thoughts on them are. For me personally, Pyro Traveler is decent. Like, they're not great, but they're not bad. They're basically as expected for me, and I'll take it. The last few elements for the Traveler, for me, has been underwhelming, so at least this one is on par with what I really want, I guess. I do wish they were a little bit better, but I'll take it. It's better than, you know, getting absolute poop. So yeah, but definitely know what you guys think about Pyro Traveler. Like I said before, I play the Traveler differently than a lot of people. They're my main DPS. For most of you guys, your thoughts on the Pyro Traveler probably a little bit different than mine, but for the most part, I feel like everybody when they see the Pyro Traveler is probably like, they're mid. They're average. Like, they're not horrible, but they're not bad. But at least with them hyping up the Pyro Traveler, it might be something interesting in part 5 or 6. I'm not sure if part 5 or 6 of the story going forward. Maybe finally might get a moment where the Traveler can actually shine and show off the power and whatnot. So I'm excited for that, at least. But anyways, like I said before, if you guys want Genshin Impact content, definitely hit like, subscribe button. I'm planning to do more of them. And like I said before, all this leaks and stuff like that will be in the description and the comment section as well. Definitely check them out for yourself. I'm not really that smart when it comes to Genshin, so maybe my explanation for the skills aren't really that great. And also because you guys definitely want to see the animation for the Pyro Traveler, and I can't really show you that in the video. But not so much I can't show you guys, and more so I don't want to take the risk. I've been working on my channel for years. I don't want to lose everything, so I'm just gonna play it safe when it comes to the leaks. But definitely check out the Pyro Traveler's C6, like the infusion. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. But anyways, kind of video, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.